Hello, welcome to the 23rd edition of the 240p Club.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, there's a special occasion. 1 year ago today, we published our very first podcast.
Woo!
We talked about the Atari Game Over movie that appears on Netflix. We also talked about the, what else did we talk about in that? Atari in general. And, before we really got big on Twitch, we played Oregon Trail.
How did you two put up with me for a whole year?
I don't know, Ray.
I don't know either.
We're still trying to figure that out.
How did I go 1 year without murdering both of you?
I don't know. Still also trying to figure that part out.
Yeah.
Because you love us.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
You know you do.
Anyway, since it is our birthday, we're going to talk about us.
Yay!
Okay.
This podcast is going to be all about us, like some behind the scenes stuff. First of all, how did the 240p Club come about? You guys remember?
Yeah, we all just decided to...
Well, just decided one day, hi, we're over your house, we're going to do the 240p Club.
Mm-hmm, pretty much. It's an idea that was basically conceived in the Kawaii Kitty Cafe.
Yeah. Actually, it goes back a little further. We were discussing it back in 2015, actually. Mm-hmm. Me and one of my other friends, a guy named Mark, who's not here. We were chatting about it. Like, yeah, we should do a podcast. And, just us two together, it seemed like it would be kind of boring. So, let's get some more people involved in it. So, I contacted Nikki and I contacted Ray, who are some of my... best friends and most knowledgeable on retro video gaming.
Yay, you love me.
I love you all. You guys are awesome. But after just discussing it, it became like discussion to, I remember myself having a pint at one of my favorite bars in Philadelphia, a place called the Fado. And, there's no, I usually go there to watch soccer. There's no good soccer games on that day. I was just in the neighborhood, so I was like, I have a pint. So I pulled out my phone, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just get this started. We had, like, no name, no nothing, anything. Just, an idea. It's like, hey, retro gaming, let's just talk about it weekly and week out. Let's figure out the direction later. It didn't start there. We just got everyone involved there, but then we wound up, just when we got serious about it, we wound up going to a place called the Kawaii Kitty Cafe, which is also in Philadelphia. Place where you can have tea, coffee, and all kinds of other drinks, and sit in a room full of adoptable cats. Basically, they partner with something called PAWS, Philadelphia Animal Welfare Society. They give cats, homes. Any cat you see in that cafe is adoptable, and most of them are extremely friendly. You can play with them. A few people I'm sure got bit there, but nothing serious. But most of the cats have been adopted since then. Like that when we first started, all that round of cats all went to good homes. But as a side, we were chatting about it, and it seemed like the right time to just try to figure out a name for it, try to figure out the direction for it. Hence 240p Club.
Yeah, we must have gone through at least 10 ideas for names.
And I was the one who eventually got the name that got greenlit.
Yeah, we were going with, my first idea for a name was Game On, Game Over, which is a little redundant. Mm-hmm. And also Taken, I think. Just some company took that. So we were just discussing names after names, and then Ray says, I think, how about the 240p Clan? Or, then it evolved somehow the 240p Guild, and then eventually just 240p Club. I think he blurted out club, and then, bam, we have our name.
Completely just rolled right off the tongue.
Yeah, it worked.
It was meant to be.
Worked really well. Designed a logo for it. Here's a did you know fact. The logo was inspired really by, you could tell it's inspired by old Nintendo games, from the early era of Nintendo. But that one in particular was inspired by NES Pinball, actually. That's what we were going for, to make it look like NES Pinball. Fortunately, I found a few graphical, fonts and everything. My wife, our behind-the-scenes gal Mel, actually designed the logo, and I think I added the 1-player, 2-player, and the high score to it. And high score means absolutely nothing. It's just a random string of numbers that I put there to make it seem like there was a good high score.
In reality, the high score is just how awesome I am.
Yeah. Yeah, but it still fails in comparison to the world record.
That's the number of times Nikki will have hit us by the time we eventually fold.
Yes.
Taekwondo master.
That is definitely it. That is definitely it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, any other fun facts, like, about the 240p Club we could share? Right? What are your experiences with the 240p Club so far?
Well, one thing that has been interesting is we don't always record our podcasts, like, in the studio, so to speak. We do go to, like, various places around town.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely good. We did a podcast live at something called Winterfest. You've seen the video, so why don't we go behind the scenes that day? It's a funny thing, like, we planned it out for like 2 weeks. Hey, you can do something at Winterfest, all bundled up and everything, etc. Ice skating, we'll film us ice skating, we'll do this, that. The day we went down there for Winterfest, it was 65 degrees outside. It felt like a spring day. This is the middle of February. It felt like a spring day. So we had this whole idea, we're going to do is about like ice levels and winter, favorite winter levels, so we incorporated some stuff for Valentine's Day into it too, but all this stuff, and we wound up getting a 65-degree day, and no ice skating was done. But we still had a good time filming it. I booted up Blades of Steel on my portable laptop in order to give us somewhat a feel of wintertime. So that was something. But yeah, no, funny thing too, we recorded it with 2 cameras and they both failed by the end. The one failed halfway through. Fortunately, I was able to edit it into, hopefully, well, not that smoothly, but edit it somewhat into a video. And after a while, the second camera failed as well. Fortunately, we had enough audio where we could make the podcast complete, We just kept it up with the audio. I put some pictures into the video, make it look presentable. Fortunately, that sucks that we had a camera meltdown, but hey, it happens. The best plans of the 240p Club kind of fall apart on us. But yeah, we definitely enjoyed filming that. We're going to be doing an upcoming podcast at the Barcade in Philadelphia, which is a bar and an old school arcade. They have old school arcade games, although they started bringing in some games from the late 90s, early 2000s, but for the most part, it's just a retro arcade. Nikki, what was your most pleasurable experience with the 240p Club so far?
Putting up with you two.
Yeah. Miss Negativity over here. I gotta record a podcast.
Oh, I gotta get out of bed, come here, and
you mean I gotta show up and record?
Exactly. What do you mean? I hate you guys. No, really though, it's been very, very eventful. I'm from a later era of video games as opposed to Joe and Ray. I'm a little bit younger, so...
Not that much younger. I mean, we came from the NES era, you came from the SNES era.
Right, I came from the SNES era.
It's a difference of 5 years.
Yeah, but it's still, there was an era that I was not all that... Not to say I'm not all that familiar with, but I'm a little more familiar with the SNES era as opposed to NES. So it was like a relearning experience.
For the NES stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And especially with the Atari business as well. So it's just cool, and I'm a history buff too, so it's I always love to hear these old stories.
Yeah, that was the fun part. That was one of the things we thought was missing, actually, from the retro gaming scene. Yeah, a lot of people do historical stuff and video games from past eras, and there are a lot of people that are into retro gaming, a whole lot. That was the pleasurable part about setting up our social media accounts, is seeing the sheer number of people that are just fanatics about retro gaming. Especially on Twitch. You go on Twitch, obviously the top channels are modern games, but then you go down a little further and, oh my god, people are playing all these retro games again, and playing some of the forgotten classics and some of the forgotten not-so classics. It's amazing. But, one of the best parts about that was, we decided we lived that era too. Most of us, we lived the SNES era, and I collect a lot of old gaming magazines, so I wound up having a unique perspective, because I remember stuff from some of those eras. like when it happened, and it's just like I remember like thinking like basically not knowing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, but as a consumer like at that time, or rather as someone whose parents bought us video games because we were 12 years old and weren't employed, it was really fun like recreating that era again in my head, and trying to basically place it historically, like what was going on at the time and what do we feel about something happening in retro gaming at the time. So from that perspective, like we felt that some of that was missing. I mean, since we've discovered no, it really wasn't, but it's always fun to put another take on things.
And it's definitely really fun to go back and play games that you haven't been able to play yet, and especially games that you haven't played in a really long time. Yeah,
that was another good part. The NES library consists of 700-something odd games. The SNES era consists of, 400 or 500-something odd games. We have not played them all. Obviously, I'm not going to get into an emulator versus like collector's debate. I'd rather have the real product, but in certain cases that's not possible without investing a couple grand, so just playing some of these titles is sufficient for now. But yeah, it was always fun playing some stuff that came out around the 16-bit era that I completely skipped over.
Definitely one game that comes to mind was Breath of Fire. I borrowed it from a friend years ago, and I forget how long ago it was, but we were all still in elementary school, and I got to maybe about the third dungeon or so.
Yeah.
And I had to return the game because my friend actually moved to another country, and from that point on,
I think you've told the story before.
Never able to play it up until I started with 240p Club and realized, you know what, let's just finish this game. I'm in the mood, let's do it.
Nice. Now, Ray, one of the other things with the 240p Club since you've been doing this project, you went to Japan. And, we covered that last week, actually. Well, 3 weeks ago now, because we seem to be doing these every 3 weeks. We covered your hauls from Japan, and you actually played one of them on our Twitch channel. Like, describe that. How fun was that, or how weird was that?
Oh, it was a kind of a chill game. I mean, it got a little difficult in the later levels, but what game doesn't? It was funny, sort of like hitting a brick wall in the middle when you have to like go on a quiz show with like the Statue of Liberty as the host.
Now, what game were we talking about?
We're talking about Kid Dracula, or as they call it over there, Akumajo Special Boku Dracula-kun. Which was, I believe, what they called both the games. There was like a sort of sequel, sort of remake, Kid Dracula, like under the same title, which did get released over here. The original one for the NES didn't. So so that first game was the one I imported and played on stream.
You played them both, I think, on that stream.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you played the Game Boy one, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Game Boy one was ported here. The Famicom one never was ported here. But yeah, I know what you're talking about with the Japanese game. The American Statue of Liberty was a game show host. But unfortunately, since none of us are fluent in Japanese, it was impossible to really answer the questions.
Even if, I did know enough, I cannot read that fast at this point yet. I could read it phonetically, but...
Was that kind of influenced a bit by our podcast, or was that just, getting that game? And, did you, heading over to Japan, I know you had other stuff doing in Japan, but let's just say, the 240p Club never happened, and, you were in Japan. Would you have still picked that particular game up, or would you have picked something else up?
I probably still would have picked that game up because, it's like a Japan exclusive, never came out here, probably fairly easy to play, except for the one part.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of games like RPGs that are way too dialogue heavy, so unless you really brush up and study for a long time, you won't really get anywhere.
You need, a walkthrough for, some of them. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Alright, Nikki, was there any, I know you just mentioned Breath of Fire, was there anything you picked up, retro gaming-wise, thanks to the 240p Club?
Well, I've always had a love for Mega Man. It's just that, it was more or less a pickup game for me, but I became even more invested in the franchise. Joe over here is a very big fan of Mega Man, so he got me more invested into it.
Nice. Yeah, since we're doing, we'll mention that later about the Mega Man for Mega PAWS charity event. We've been practicing, we're polishing our skills, a lot of off-camera stuff. I mean, I've been polishing them a little bit at work, and, I'm not going to take what little time I have at work, and broadcast, try to get, our bad Wi-Fi signal at work. Broadcast for 20 minutes, me playing like a level or two, and then nah. But one of these days, I'm going to sit down and play through like one or two of those games. So you'll be seeing that on Twitch soon. But yeah, no, we've been working on our Mega Man skills, especially Nikki, because Nikki skipped over some of those games as a kid. So
I believe I started with the X series.
Yeah. Which puts you kind of at a disadvantage because the X series, the X was controlled fluidly, as soon as you got the dash, the headbutt, all that stuff, bouncing off walls, it was different controller dynamic than the original Mega Man series, which didn't have a slide at the time, didn't have a Mega Buster, and, it was basically jump heavy. We will have like a blog post eventually about Mega Man. I will go into detail. I did some research. Unfortunately, Wikipedia doesn't count as academic research, but I'm not writing an academic paper, so I use mostly Wikipedia, and I clicked on like one or two sources just to verify some of my information. But yeah, we'll be running a special on Mega Man soon. All right, 240p Club. What else? Episodes. I think our most memorable one, one actually that got the most listens, was the RPG podcast.
I was about to mention the RPG.
Yeah, that was a fun exercise in, doing lists and statistics and stuff, because, we all couldn't really agree on an entire top 10. We just had to, vote for some stuff.
It even got to the point where we had to separate RPGs and Final Fantasy.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we didn't want our RPG list flooded with Final Fantasy. We managed to get that in there well before the Game Informer one, and was there another? I think IGN did one too.
I believe so.
Yeah, we got ours in way before they did, and obviously we didn't include anything modern. So sorry, Skyrim fans, that didn't make our list.
Yeah, sorry, Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect and
Dragon Age,
Persona.
Well, no apologies to Xenoblade Chronicles. That made it in somehow.
Yeah, it did. And Chrono Trigger still charted really high.
Which is my favorite, but, bias.
Yeah, that's everyone's
all
favorite.
Bias.
Yeah, thanks to that. See, I played that again. The DS version. Yeah, I beat the Dream Maker, or Dream,
Dream Devourer, I think
Dream
it was.
Devourer, yeah. That was a fun fight. Yeah, but anyway, that was the most fun we've ever had recording a podcast. Not to say the other ones weren't fun, but that was an early standout.
That one in particular was really cool. I like the Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat one that we did.
That was a fun one. Well, no, it wasn't a Street Fighter versus Final Fight versus Streets of Rage.
Right, we did do that.
But then we also did that Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Battle Royal was fun, too. To be honest with you, it was a little behind-the-scenes stuff. That came about because we didn't really have a topic for that week.
Right.
So it's like, this is off-discussed. We always discuss, what games are better. This game, or this game. So we finally did it. We finally just said, hell with it. We're just going to make an entire podcast devoted to that. And we had your brother as a special guest joining us, as a tiebreaker vote. Phil came in and said, "Hi, how you doing?" He's like, I like this game, and basically helped us decide some of those.
I mean, Streets of Rage, that was so cool.
Yeah, it is. It so is. Yeah, absolutely.
I find myself listening to that thing every day, almost.
Yeah. Right, what was your most memorable podcast of all the ones we recorded?
I'd probably have to agree and say the RPG one. A lot of work went into that. And, we were all pretty satisfied with how it came out.
Yeah, after editing it down, we still wound up with both parts, considering we had 2 hours of podcast. A little over 2 hours. So that was the longest one we've ever done. We had to split it into 2 parts. And honestly, I could have probably split it into 3 parts, but we wanted to get that list out there finally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we recorded that. We kind of started late on that. We recorded that well until like 2 in the morning. So after a while, we just started like losing steam, and then Chrono Trigger came around. Like, yeah, Chrono Trigger, #1 game.
Mm. I think another really cool thing was when we pretty much guessed almost all the games on the SNES Classic.
Yeah, that was another thing the 240p Club has done. We're, in case you didn't notice, we are patting ourselves on the back a bit here, so give yourselves a pat on the back.
If I can reach.
Yeah.
I have something in the way.
Yeah, mine.
I ain't talking about your blanket.
But anyway, we decided to make, hey, what's going to be on the SNES Classic? We guessed some of the games, and Ray guessed perfectly right. We all guessed perfectly right. I think we all nailed it, basically.
Yeah, we got a pretty good amount of guesses correct. Particularly Star Fox 2. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a big one. Ray said Earthbound. Mm-hmm. Ray's like, no, there's no way Earthbound is going to be on it, but he nailed it. He absolutely nailed that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of some of the other podcasts we've done over the years. Obviously, the other standout was the, the Winterfest one we just mentioned.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a blast. We did a couple... We did a Thanksgiving one, a Christmas one. Well, not Christmas. I think we did like Christmas memories.
We did mention a little Christmas memories, yes.
One thing we did do, actually, this is never going to air. I'm just putting this flat out there. Never going to air. I still have the audio. It's never going to happen. I'm sorry, 240p Clubland. But we did a screen take, basically, of that night at the Quiet Kitty Cafe when we decided on everything and calling it the 240p Club. We came back here to the studio and did a quick 10-15 minute take on old school videos, video game rental stores like Blockbuster and everything. And I think we mentioned arcades, but I forget. But that was a standout because that was like the very first recording we ever did, and we also that was basically again a screen test. We were just like, hey, how's this sound like, and can we edit it? Just play around in the editor, see what happens. Well, with a pretty good product, and we were ready for podcast 1. We also, we're multifaceted. Aside from just having a podcast, which is our main thing, we also do a Twitch. We try to stream like at least 2 or 3 times a week. Nikki, what was your most memorable Twitch so far?
Do you really want to start talking about the Street Fighter one that I did?
No, I'm talking memorable, not like, controller fell apart, sorry.
Yeah, it really did. I'm pressing the back button to block, and all of a sudden I got Ryu kicking me like the block never happened.
Usually, when you lose in a fighting game and you blame it on your controller, we have to call bullshit.
Right, exactly.
In this case, your controller actually melted down.
It really did. And I wonder if it had to do with the fact that the room was like almost 100 degrees in there.
That probably did it.
And my controller was probably like, that's it.
For the love of God, get a fan in there or something.
Yeah, exactly. I had my window open too. That's
circulation. Well, it's summertime. It's going to still be hot, even with the windows open. Got to get some circulation in there,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's definitely one of my more infamous Twitches. It only lasted like a good 20 minutes or so before the controller
fell apart.
That's it, yep. The controller said, you know what, you suck so much at this game, I'm out of here.
Ray, what was your most fun one, man?
Well, as mentioned earlier, I've only recently started doing like solo Twitch streams for the channel because my previous apartment had like a lot of noise. I had trouble with the neighbors, and recently I moved and it's a lot quieter there, so I've been able to finally get my solo stuff in, and you'll be seeing a lot more of that. But I've been doing quite a few streams with the other 2 members here, and sometimes Falloon when he decides to show up. Probably my favorite was the Super Mario Bros. 3 race we recently had, because it was a fun little experiment. We were like testing to make sure everything would be good to go for the upcoming like charity stream.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually.
That was a lot of fun.
That was, I'm gonna have to say, that's my favorite Twitch experience. Doing the Mario 3 race so far. I know it's going to be replaced by the Mega Man's charity stream.
Of course, that disastrous Shovel Knight stream, I'm pretending, never happened.
It wasn't disastrous. It just, basically slammed the table, had a beer explode, and,
woke me up.
Yeah. Nikki woke up.
Woke up so confused. I said, what is going on?
Yeah, we classified it as an epic rage quit. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. But that's okay, man. Like, it happens. I had a few bungled streams, too. I tried to do a Bionic Commando one. The audio came out, with a ridiculous echo, then eventually a delay, and then eventually it was unsuitable for publishing.
Why don't you tell them about the baseball situation?
Oh, man. Eventually, I still have all these videos that we recorded saved on my computer from our Twitch sessions, and one of these days I'm just going to go through them, pick out some of my greatest either blunders or glitches, and put them into a compilation.
You have to wait for me to play Pilot Wings before you do anything of that.
Nikki's Pilot Wings fail.
I can do the skydiving, no problem. It's the airplane that we got really down now.
Let's put it to you this way. Some of these games, you find some bugs, you're like, what? So I decided to do, a summer stream back in, I believe it was June. So played I picked a few random games, did TNC Surf Design, which honestly that lasts 5 minutes, cause I wanted to do the skate and the surf just to show the skate and the surf. That game sucks. The skate is okay. So I decided to change it to a real skating game, Skate or Die, and then we finally settled on, since it's summertime, baseball, and we did RBI Baseball, the original. I was the New York Mets playing the Houston Astros, and we had a situation where the fielding in that sucks. Let's just put it that way. It's very possible to stretch a single into a triple if you know what you're doing. It's also very possible to score a ground rule home run. Not a ground rule home run, an inside the park home run, I should say, if you know your base running. So I'm pitching, the computer player hits the ball, it's a line drive straight into right fields, and my right fielder goes over to pick up the ball, throw it into third, and I wound up hitting the control a certain way and throwing the ball straight into the stands. The ball flew right into the stands, it plopped down, everyone continued running. It was the greatest glitch I've ever seen. The other funny part was, I remember you kicking a Yoshi off a cliff.
Yes, I did. I kicked him, and not just a Yoshi, a baby Yoshi.
Baby Yoshi.
After you just hatched right out of the egg.
You kicked a baby Yoshi straight off the cliff in Super Mario World.
Yes, I did.
This is a sight to see. You were like, no!
I felt so bad. How can I harm an adorable baby Yoshi?
You didn't even give him a chance. It was like the whale in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It just appears in thin air, and then it has a couple seconds before it hits the ground to come to terms with its existence. It just bam, and then all of a sudden it hits the ground. It's like, hey, there's the ground. I hope it'll be friends with me. Mm-hmm. You did the same thing to that Yoshi. It popped straight out of the egg. Whee!
We didn't even have time to go wait before I kicked him.
Yeah. There's the Mushroom Kingdom. I hope it'll be friends with me.
Nope, splat. There's another podcast that I was just really, really happy with also. Was one of my recent ones when I was doing Joe and Mac. I love that game.
That was fun.
That was awesome. I have beaten the game years ago with my brother. We had a lot of fun with it. And recently, as I've been playing it, I haven't really been doing all that great with it. But during the Twitch, though, I got pretty farther than I've gone in a long time with it.
You probably tuned it in. You had that focus, because you're live.
Until that red dinosaur came up.
Oh.
Man, did that red dinosaur really piss me off.
Oh, right.
I didn't, scream or anything like that, so I was just kind of okay, we'll get him next time.
I'm not going to rage quit on camera. But you probably turn the camera.
No, not really.
Oh.
No, I just kind of turned it off, had a drink of water, and went to bed.
Yeah, I'll be the
Nah, not even that. I grabbed all my plushies and fell asleep.
Sleep
with
plushies. Yeah, Nikki does.
I sleep with a lot of plushies.
That's Nikki. Care of the 240p Club. Send their plushies.
In a nutshell.
Yes.
I will absolutely take all your plushies. I am currently in the market for Tekken plushies that do not exist. Yet. If you can make me one, I will be very happy considering my birthday's coming up soon. Hey!
Yeah,
maybe I'll post on the 240p Club the thing I really want for my birthday.
Cheap plug. Nikki's birthday's in September. And no, we're not doing a Nikki birthday podcast, sorry. We didn't do a birthday podcast for anyone, really.
Yeah, that is true, except all of us as a whole.
Yeah, this is our only birthday podcast because we turned 1 today.
Yay!
We did this for 1 year. Granted, we only have 23 episodes, but, we're working on doing some more recording. Maybe upping the schedule for every 2 weeks, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, we are missing a face. We've had our contributor, John Falloon, has showed up a couple times and, put his 2 cents in. He's part of our team here. And, wherever you are, John, hopefully you're listening and you don't
We love
scream.
you!
Yeah, we love you. And what do you mean a bird?
Bird.
Yes. Also, from the 240p Club, we do have some future plans, actually. We always have future plans.
Always.
That's the thing. I drive these guys crazy. We do, despite the fact that we appear very amateurish and just talking, what the hell, grabbing a tape recorder and going, yeah, let's just talk and see where this leads. We actually plan some stuff out. And I drive these guys crazy with, having meetings and being on top of things, etc., etc. I forgot where I was going with this. Shit.
Well, you drive us a little crazy, but sometimes you need to be driven crazy to actually have a driving force into doing these things.
Yeah, I guess so. I just try to, keep
The more crazy I am, the more energetic I am, the more I can get out of bed and come here.
There we go. Mm-hmm. Motivation.
Exactly.
Try for maximum motivation.
Mm-hmm. It's basically you kicking my ass out of bed.
Yeah. I didn't quite literally today. It was just, but, the tempting offers of one of our other friends with the cheesesteak, which...
It helped.
Yeah, it definitely helped. But in the end,
It also helped that I fell out of bed this morning.
Oh, no.
I was stretching out and then boom!
Oh, man.
I was like, alright, I'm awake.
Yeah, I hound these people for future plans. I'm like, hey, we should do this. Like, yeah, you guys have any ideas for future plans? We should do this. Yeah, like we did with the Winterfest, we are going to do a Summerfest podcast. And I guarantee you, the day we decide to do Summerfest, it's going to be like cool and rainy. And unable for us to do anything. That's the way it works with the 240p Club. But anyway, we are going to do one. We also have a podcast live at the Barcade planned. We still are in contact with them to make sure everything is going to happen accordingly. But yeah, the Barcade Philadelphia, we might announce it or something so you guys can watch us record if you want to. We'll keep you all informed on that. That's a little ways away. Obviously, Mega Man Street, Mega Man for Mega PAWS, that's coming up August 6th at noon Eastern Standard Time. Check out Mega Man for Mega PAWS. PAWS, we recorded a few things for PAWS. You'll see them on the website, www.240pclub.com, in the near future.
And another idea that I'd pitched around before we even started recording podcasts was a collaborative playthrough on Twitch of an RPG that you guys haven't played, which of course I was suggesting Earthbound.
I'm still down for Earthbound.
We just have to find a time when we have a whole afternoon to at least get through a dungeon or two, and then just continue playing it whenever we have a free weekend.
Absolutely. As a side note, I also have RPG Maker, so I could actually make an RPG if, I actually have the patience to sit down and figure it out. Mm-hmm. I had the RPG Maker for PlayStation back in the day, and that was a pain in the ass to figure out, but once you did, it came out pretty good. But this program is completely different, and, again, I'll figure it out, but that'd be cool. Make it the 240p Club style RPG. We all have input, and then bam, we play it on Twitch. That's something.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we will be. That's definitely one of our future plans. We talk about a medical podcast constantly. We just have to sit down with all our Wonders doctors and Wonders medical professionals and figure out exactly when is the best time for everyone for an interview. And then, that will be well-researched. That's what we're going for, a well-researched podcast about, the effects video games have on people. Also,
physically, mentally.
Yeah, exactly. All facets, too. Physically, mentally, everything.
I mean, video games are wonderful, but like with any kind of wonderful thing, they can also be harmful.
Yes.
Always in moderation.
Always in moderation, and if you see yourself getting addicted, try to seek a little help, outside help. Gaming addiction is serious. Just ask my wife. She, has been watching me play Skyrim again. It would be basically where I get into the Skyrim zone for 4 to 6 hours. So I haven't gotten that bad where I've called out of work to play Skyrim, so.
Last week I spent the whole week straight playing the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, which is basically a cross between Zelda and Skyrim. If you like Zelda and you like Skyrim, you'll love that game.
That was the idea behind it. They wanted a Zelda game to look like Skyrim.
I don't know where you find 4 to 6 hours or a week to play one game. I ain't got that kind of time.
I barely have that kind of time.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Some sleep is sacrificed, fortunately. But, I've managed to play a little bit of it. I'm trying to wean myself away from it, though. Okay, maybe I could get away with 1 or 2 hours a day, but my focus right now is Mega Man because of our upcoming charity stream.
Okay, I lied. I played 4 hours of Tekken the other day. Trying to master a character.
Yeah, the time goes by like that, too. Because once you play and you're just oh my god, what time is it?
Yeah, exactly. And then I realized I haven't really gotten all that far with that character, so...
Yeah.
I'm slacking, too. I still have not gone and, practiced 3, because that's the toughest one for me.
3 was the toughest one for you. 4 was the toughest one for me. I sat down and grinded through it and realized how friggin' tough the Wily boss was. Not the very last one, but that big, Wily robot. Oh. In 2 parts. Yeah. Play through 4 again, you'll see what I'm talking about. That was ridiculous. And the thing is, with the first form was okay. I could get through the first form pretty easily. That's the thing with the second form. It had one tiny weak spot. No weapons were doing except the Mega Buster, and you had to be at the height of your jump in order to connect with the Mega Buster. I have to look at a walkthrough, see how other people do it, but that's the only way I was able to damage him at this point. So we'll see. Hopefully,
the results of our training.
Master that by the time we get to our stream. Rail Master 3, and especially the Doctor robots.
And I'm just gonna soldier on.
Yep, Nikki's going to soldier on and try to get through Mega Man 1. Mm-hmm. Which, I still need to do a playthrough because that last level put me on my ass the last time I played it, so I have to sit down and do it again. And
I've really been enjoying all the hours I've been putting into Mega Man as well.
Yeah, it's such a good game.
It is, it's a great franchise.
We'll definitely be talking more Mega Man very soon, but, Mega Man's great. It's a shame that Capcom doesn't seem to love Mega Man too much anymore. Yeah, well, what's his name left Capcom,
right?
So Infani, Inafune. My Japanese is horrible, but anyway, he left. So the franchise has not been the same.
Number 9.
Yeah, that's the direction it went, and that was terrible. It was a bad game.
I'm just really happy now that I have X and Zero in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I don't have any interest in buying the game, but if it's at a party that I'm at, I'm not gonna grab the controller.
One day we'll have a stream where we just stream nothing but the 3-hour credit sequence of Mighty Number 9.
Oh God.
Good Lord. Might as well have me stream Sons of the Patriots while you're at it.
You might see that on April Fool's Day. We'll sit down and play Mighty Number 9.
I do want to play a Metal Gear Solid game for you guys one day.
Yeah, we will tackle that Metal Gear Solid. Actually, come to think of it, I do want to blast through the original Metal Gear, too. I've never actually beat it, so that'd be a good challenge. The nice part about our Twitch is, that gives you some bonus content when we're not recording a podcast. Record a podcast every so often. We play Twitch once, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Each of us do some solo Twitches. Sometimes we'll be as a group and we'll be playing all together, None of us are professional speedrunners. Ray has done a couple speedrunning games, and he actually could nail Battletoads pretty well. So, we're looking forward to seeing him stream that someday. Yeah, that'll be down the line. Anyway, Mega Man as well. That's coming up. The Mega Man from Mega PAWS. Okay, we actually do have a few questions. People have asked us over this past year we could give you some responses. Most of these were received from real life friends. We're not going to bullshit you. You haven't seen it on our Twitch or anything like that. But the one question we'd be getting is, how do you record? How do we record, guys? With a DIY budget. That's how we record.
DIY.
Do it yourself.
You have a nice, cute little recorder.
Yeah, we have a little recorder here. We all sit around it. I don't have multiple microphones and a giant studio set up with, podcasting equipment. That'll be later on if we ever establish a patron account. You could donate to our podcast equipment and we could keep recording. All right. The other question we got: how do we think of topics?
Sometimes they just kind of fly in, kind of up in the air.
Yeah, sometimes we just think of them. Just
and sometimes there are leeway into what we have previously discussed.
Also, we've had this podcast where we had no topic and we just decided to roll tape and talk and see where it led. Wound up with some pretty good podcasts. Alright, how do you decide what games to stream?
Well, for me personally, I've been going through stuff I either haven't beaten yet or haven't 100%ed yet or stuff like that.
The past few games I've streamed for Midnight NES Madness have just been games just browse through the library and hey, that seems like a good title to play.
I just like going through games that I've played previously as a child and trying to renew those happy feelings
We'll be doing
beating the game.
We'll be doing a couple blind playthroughs too.
Going forward, you can probably expect me to be the one who does all the obscure stuff. I don't know, Magic of Scheherazade. I'm kind of looking forward to playing that at some point.
Ooh, I would love to play that. I've played it, briefly, but I'm very unfamiliar with it. Okay, this is a good one. Why do we choose retro gaming to cover instead of retro and modern gaming?
Because Call of Duty sucks.
I've played modern gaming. I don't like modern gaming.
Except Skyrim.
And a few other games. I
like modern gaming. It just depends on what the game is.
I did like the Shadowrun remake. That was fun. All the Shadowrun remakes. Those are fun. Not the MMORPG one, the single-player one. Also, I've grown up in the 8-16-bit eras. I'm used to a controller. I work a lot of hours, don't have time to sit down in front of a TV and figure out a first-person shooter. I did plenty of that in my high school days with Quake 2 and all the other games like that. Hexen.
First-person shooters give me migraines anyway.
Yeah. So, grumpy old people, get off my lawn.
That's my line.
So I use it too.
You don't have a lawn.
No, I don't, actually.
I do, and you know what? I used it yesterday. I heard someone on my porch the other day.
Oh, no.
I walked right out. Get off my lawn! Person ran for their life.
Alright, another question. What is our favorite games and what is our favorite franchises? Obviously, my favorite game of all time is Chrono Trigger.
For me, it would have to be Super Metroid.
Super Metroid is definitely up there. Nikki?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Picked all Super Nintendo games. Isn't that something with that era?
That really is.
Franchise-wise, I'm definitely going with the Mega Man franchise. It's still one of my favorites. And X, that counts as X too. Right?
Probably gonna go by one I've played the most, and for me that would probably be Final Fantasy, honestly.
Final Fantasy is really good.
At least 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, until 13 happened. We don't discuss.
We don't discuss that.
I mean, okay, I like 12 too. Of course, 11 was an MMORPG. Never touched that.
That 10 is quickly becoming one of my favorites in the series. Not my favorite, obviously. 6 is still my favorite. 7 is way up there as well. But I think after 6 and 7, 10 is definitely up there for me.
It does get, like, really challenging towards the end, actually.
It does. Yeah, you gotta grind quite a bit, you know, and get some of those abilities. Like, once I had double cast, that's when I started, you know, becoming a little easier. Okay,
Oh, wait, I have to say my favorite franchise is it's definitely Zelda. I mean, it's a game franchise I grew up on, and it's just, you know,
it's
so
Zelda.
much memories.
Zelda's
It's Zelda. Do I even have to explain?
Yeah, I've played plenty of Zelda. Val, you have a favorite game, actually.
It's Tetris, actually.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
What was that other game, though, for Nintendo you played back in the day that you know
Dragon
you
Warrior.
Yes.
Oh, I love
And that was a big Dragon Warrior fan. The other game, like she's played many times, and you know still has a soft spot for it. Mile in the Secret Castle.
Yeah. It's
Really?
weird. Yeah, it's a weird game, but there's something
cute.
about it. I just love it. I love the music. I love. Yeah.
It was a fun game. I liked it. I don't care what the angry video game nerd says. Okay, another question. How old were you guys when we played your first video games?
I was 4 years old. I got my start on the Atari 2600. I believe I said that earlier.
The very first podcast. But, you know, it's asked again. I was also 4 years old. My brother-in-law had a old Atari 2600 wound up in my house somehow, and I played most of these games on a black and white TV.
I actually don't remember how old I was, but I was really young. So
Yeah.
we'll just put it anywhere between the ages of 4 to 10.
Started off with Super Nintendo.
I did.
Yes.
Me and my dad played Zelda. We played, what else did we play? We played Top Gear, and we played Pilot Wings.
Awesome.
There was many a time where we were all just sat in front of the TV and I remember playing the Rocket Bell for a long time with him. That was his favorite stage. So he taught me how to play, and then, you know.
Nice. Another question we're getting. How old are you guys? And, you know, I guess, I don't know, can't really read the rest of this. It's just, how old are you guys? And I'm guessing, like, what console got us really start? Like, what console do we, like, remember the most, I guess?
I guess I'll start. Like, I'm 32, gonna be 33 soon, and, like, probably the first really memorable console for me was I would like to say NES, but probably Super NES, honestly, because even though I, like, played both simultaneously, like, the Super NES was just, I don't know, more ingrained in the pop culture and expanded the genres, like, that I was interested in. Like, I had never really played RPGs that much until, like, Breath of Fire, Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, and so forth.
Yeah.
I remember playing the original Final Fantasy for NES, and I was, like, too young to really understand it and get past the Marsh Cave, which I didn't do until many years later. I actually did destroy a cartridge of that game.
Ooh.
Epic gamer rage right there.
Oh, damn.
Well, I'm not answering the first part of that question. Because, don't ask a woman her age.
Ask a woman her age.
Yeah, because she might rage. And knowing how insane I am, you're gonna get it. I'm a Taekwondo master.
We'll say she's on the plus side of 25.
Okay. Fair enough.
We'll go with that.
I'm wearing a big heart.
Yeah.
SNES was my leeway in. I received it as a present. I believe it was for Christmas. Yes. And it came with, I believe it came with Super Mario World, and we also received some other games with that also. So it was my first video game console, my first Christmas with the video games, and pretty much sparked a cultural revolution with me, and I have been playing video games ever since.
Nice. I started with, well, I'm 35. I'm there's nothing more to be said there. I'm 35. I started with Atari, but the system that's most ingrained in my memory is honestly my Sega Genesis. Even though my Nintendo was the first one I ever got, I was a rabid fan of Mario. I had the cereal, I had the lunchbox, I had the bed sheets.
I had the pajamas.
Nice.
Yep,
pajamas.
I had Mario pajamas.
I had a few different things, Mario-wise. Like, I had a lot of Mario merch. I had a Mario sweatshirt. I had yes, I was all about Mario and The Legend of Zelda and, all the Nintendo franchises. I woke up on Saturday morning and watched Captain N with the Game Master. I watched the Mega Man cartoon while that was out. Super Mario Bros. Super Show, Mario 3, Mario World, all those things. I've watched them. The Sega Genesis is ingrained in my memory because when I guess it was like 9 or 10 when I had a Sega Genesis. I got for a really good report card / birthday gift. I got that and Sonic. My friends had Sonic and one of the early Madden titles. I think it was 92. Yeah. It was ingrained in my memory, the Sega Genesis. I've had a good run with my Sega Genesis. I had a video store a block away where I could just walk and play, a new Sega Genesis game whenever I wanted. Granted for the weekend, but So, the Sega Genesis was in my mind, and is still ingrained in my mind forever. So, I'm very loyal to my Mega Drive / Sega Genesis. Although Super Nintendo did win the 16-bit wars, I think. Mm-hmm. But we'll discuss that some other future podcast.
The Sega was pretty cool. It was usually with my area, you either had a Super Nintendo or you had a Sega Genesis. So my friends would come to my house and play the Sega Genesis, to play the Super Nintendo, and I would go to their houses and play the Sega Genesis. So I remember, in particular, playing Streets of Rage for the first time at my friend's house, and we could not even get past the intro song before we put the controllers down and turned the volume up into a dance floor.
Nice.
We were like, oh, that's right, we have to play a game still. Realizing that also the opening track of the game, not getting past the menu screen and everything, going to the first stage. Again, put the controller down and we all just started dancing.
You realized there was a sound test option.
That wasn't until later.
You didn't have to just put the controller down and let the music play. You had a sound test option. You could just go to the option menu and play whatever song you wanted from that game.
Exactly, and then once we figured it out, we were like, oh, okay.
I've done that for a lot of games, by the way. The Sega Genesis had great sound.
It really did.
It was considered the weaker sound chip of the Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo, but the Sega Genesis had some of the most memorable music.
I don't know. Streets of Rage had an actual DJ. So.
Yeah, that sounded awesome. Streets of Rage. Yeah, we've talked
I could gush about that soundtrack all day, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very last question. This is actually coming from me, because I figured this would be a good one to talk about. We talked about a lot of video games, console games, etc., but we don't mention too many PC games. What is our experience with PC games? Where do we start off with PC games? And do we consider ourselves part of the PC master race, so to speak, as much shit talkers have mentioned?
Well, when it comes to modern gaming, I kind of do. I have a pretty recent gaming rig built 2 years ago almost, with an Xbox One controller and everything. My parents had a Tandy 1000 that they let me play, which I think predated my Atari 2600 experience actually.
Oh wow!
So there were a lot of educational games on there, and Wheel of Fortune and stuff, and some arcade ports that didn't work, Sopwith and all that. Around 1994 is when we finally got an actual computer that could go online and stuff with
Windows
AOL.
3.1.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a crappy Packard Bell. It was too slow to run Windows 95, but I got to play stuff like old DOS games like Jazz Jackrabbit, Doom, Duke Nukem. It wasn't powerful enough for Duke Nukem 3D. But yeah, there were a lot of like fun shareware games and stuff.
Commander Keen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. I have a very, very small experience with PC gaming, honestly. I do recall, though, when I actually started playing CD-ROM games, when my computer was actually powerful enough to handle it, I played a cute little pets game called Cats and Dogs.
Aww.
It was so cute. It was like, because I had recently lost all my Tamagotchis, so I used to have all the Tamagotchi, you know, I liked stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Cats and Dogs is really, really cute. That was a game where pretty much obviously you took care of cats and dogs. You got to name them, you got to see them run around, you got to feed them and give them water. It was just really cute. But other than that, unfortunately, I do not have as much PC experience as the other two.
I don't have that much PC experience. I mean, let's be
If
realistic.
anything's more than me.
Let's be realistic. I grew up in a working class to poor family. We got by without like any sort of government assistance, but you know, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not even going to bash anyone that has to do that, or not at all. Not at all whatsoever. But yeah, we were a working class family. I got games for Christmas, birthdays, whenever I got a really good report card, you know, I could convince, you know, get a good game, you know, that was my parents' way of encouraging me. Yeah, I was a smart kid, you know, so managed to get, you know, a bunch of console games. PC? No, not at all. We couldn't afford a PC. My cousins had a Commodore 64, but my gaming experience for that was very limited, to the point where I know exactly what a Commodore 64 boot screen looks like, but I have no idea, you know, how to work a Commodore 64. I know this has to run, and then you got to press play onto the tape, you know, and etc., etc. My first PC was in 1995. No, 1995. I'm so sorry. 1996. I graduated grade school. You know, entering high school, my parents were like, "You need a PC." Before that, I had a crappy word processor that was 2 color screens, and basically, it did nothing. It was basically a electronic typewriter. So I wound up for graduating grade school, you know, going into high school, my parents bought me a Windows 95 machine, 16 megabytes of RAM, 1.5 gig hard drive, Pentium, you know, processor, 133 megahertz. This thing is basically useless today, dinosaur fossil, but it was top of the line back when I got it, and you know, it was awesome. I didn't play too many games. I managed to get into the world of shareware like a little bit later, but as part of, you know, my graduation gifts, I wound up like, you know, getting a lot of money and spending it on Warcraft 2, and oh my god, that changed my life, because I was like, oh my god, this is PC gaming, this is amazing. I don't know what I was missing. Over the past, I'd say 5 years, I gave myself a crash course in point-and-click adventures and all that stuff, and now I am well-versed in many, many forms of DOS gaming and video games. Yeah, I do want to talk about the event real quick before we send you all on your way. The Mega Man for Mega PAWS basically consists of us playing Mega Mans 1 through 6. Straight through, racing, we're all playing at the same time. We're going to set up like a NASCAR race, basically bathroom breaks, you know, you could pause your game, but no one else pauses their game for bathroom breaks. You know, so, and basically, you know, that's what the premise, that everyone is eventually going to take a bathroom break. Also, you do have to watch the endings. That's the thing. Like, you can't just beat the game and then go immediately to the next one. You do have to watch the endings, which I'm going to factor in just because that's an opportune time to go to the bathroom. You know, because it's going to happen for a stream that long. The other rule I had, too, is, there's a few rules. If, say, a player whoever the player that's the farthest along, if you are 2 games behind that player, you can skip to the next game. So if you're trying to play through Mega Man 2 and our leaderboard right now got to Mega Man 4, you can skip 2 entirely and go straight to 3. So that way we'll keep it tight and close. We'll be timing we'll try to time all our gameplay. What's some of the other rules we're having? Obviously, you will be able to donate as you're watching us. We'll have a link directly to PAWS, and we will be playing all 6. Obviously, we're not leaving until someone is a winner, and even then, I think maybe if we do good enough, maybe we could squeeze 7 in there eventually. But we're aiming for 1 through 6. It's
going to be a fun time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're looking forward to you all joining us there. It's going to start at noon, which is earlier than we've ever really streamed. So, and it all goes to PAWS, the Philadelphia Animal Welfare Society. The reason why we picked PAWS is because Quiet Kitty Cafe, where our podcast first started, works closely with PAWS to get some of these animals adopted. So, by working with, we can't really give donations to a private business. Like, that would be in poor taste, even though the business is really good and we want it to succeed. And so, we went straight to the source, which is the Philadelphia Animal Welfare Society. And we actually visited there today, said hello to a lot of their cats. They are a strictly no-kill shelter. All your donations are going to PAWS and going to homeless pets trying to find homes. Also, most of your donations go to low-cost medical care for some of your cats, including spay and neutering and a couple vaccinations.
So definitely tune into that stream and definitely donate because it's all going to a good PAWS.
Yay!
We'll hear plenty of Ray puns during our stream. Hopefully you guys...
It's going to be pawsome.
It's going to be pawsome, yes. Hopefully you guys enjoy what we're doing and hopefully you spread the word. It kind of benefits us because we are getting, people tuning in that might not normally tune in. Hey, maybe they'll like us, check us out. But in reality, we had to do something for the animals, and this is the perfect charity for us. Perfect.
It's the perfect.
Yeah, I had a good pun too.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, so anyway, that's happening August 6th. In the meanwhile, we will have some more podcasts. We will have some more regular streams. And as usual, we are looking for your feedback, input, or just interaction. We like your interactions. Go to 240pclub.com, facebook.com/240pclub, 240pclub at Twitter. What else we have? We have an Instagram, it's on the 240p Club, a YouTube channel, which is basically all our old Twitch playthroughs, and finally, we have our Twitch, twitch.tv/240p Club. And anyway, from all of us at the 240p Club, I'm Metallic Joe.
I'm Nikki.
I'm Ray.
And happy birthday to us. We made 1 year, guys. Woo!
Yay!
Farewell.